Dobar dan, dragi naši. Ovaj put mi smo na jednom posebnom mestu, izašli smo iz Integre koju poznajete i došli smo na jedno jako posebno mesto, ali i prilika je posebna. Today with me is our special guest, Susan Griffith Jones. It's very important to say everything because there is some Sue Jones in Sarajevo in Visoko. Yes. Then, just to be sure, my guest is Susan Griffith Jones, amazing person who arrived especially for few things, not for one thing. Actually, there is a lot of things that we do together. Can you explain a little bit why you are in Serbia?
Yeah. Actually, like you said, there are a few reasons that I've ended up here. And the main reason is because I have been making a film about the Bosnian pyramids for the last 7.5, in fact, 7.75 years. Actually, that's not strictly correct. The last 8 years, because I met Sam Osmanagic in India, in South India, in 2016. It was September, the middle of September 2016. At which point he asked me to make a movie about Bosnia. But he wanted me to make a movie with a difference. Because, of course, many people have been making documentaries about the Bosnian pyramids. And I had already made an artistic documentary about the lamas of Nepal, the lamas in Nepal, Tibetan lamas in Nepal. And he saw that movie, and I didn't just make a documentary about the way that they live and what they do and interview them about their life and things like that. But in order to make this movie, I first of all made a shape which I embedded into the movie. And the shape itself contains a lot of symbolic representations, like the nature of the 5 elements, the nature of consciousness, nature of non-duality, and other metaphysical subjects like this. So when he saw this movie, he saw that there was something a little bit different about it, and he asked me to come to Bosnia and make a movie like that in Bosnia. But he didn't know what he was in for. So he invited me, please come to Bosnia the following summer. So I went in 2017 and I took some visuals. And he imagined that in 2018 I would turn up with a movie. But in fact what I turned up with in the summer of 2018 was the outline of a shape in which a shape that incorporated other shapes within it that are symbolically representing the meaning of the place itself. What do I mean by that? So I discovered that there are a lot of subjects touching Bosnia, like, let's say, the Fibonacci spiral, octaves of harmonic resonance, electromagnetic energy, scalar waves. I'm just really touching the surface here. And these were just some of the subjects that I have embedded into this first picture.
Sorry if I interrupt you, but how do you feel this? Or how do you know it's all this together, Fibonacci and these colors? And what do you feel actually through when you are there? How you first touch with the pyramid of the sun, of the moon, of how you feel there?
Well, in answer to your first question, I was not just researching the place itself. Of course, I was visiting all the pyramids and picking up all the information I could about the pyramids and also feeling the energy there. But I was asking other people who had been there before. Many people had been there, and what they knew about the place, what information they had about the place. And I was researching on different levels, not just on an energetic level, also on a practical level. And I was gathering all this information together and then going off and researching these topics myself. It's not that I was very familiar with, at that point, with what is electromagnetic radiation and what are scalar waves and all these things. So I had to do a lot of research. And that research led me into different modes of thinking and how I could present this movie using this information, plus what I was intuiting while I was there. So you see, it wasn't so simple.
Of course it's not.
Which is why I didn't turn up with a movie the following year, nor the following year. So it took me a number of years before I was able to even think or even or be able to start making a movie or conceptualizing how I would make that movie. And when I did, I discovered that the one picture I had made was not enough. And I would have to expand a portion of that picture, the central part of that picture, I would have to amplify and magnify, and that became a whole nother picture, which took some time to make. Once I had these two pictures with this information embedded in it, from Fibonacci spirals to golden ratio to phi to the nature of pi to all these other things, then I created a movie which was based on these ideas, but yet I embedded into the rhythm of the movie these concepts. So in the end, you've got Fibonacci spirals within Fibonacci spirals within Fibonacci spirals and golden ratio and all these other things. To go into it would really take a very long time to tell you in detail, but just to give you an idea. So once I had made this layout, you can see that the rhythm contained the meaning of the place. But then it was 2020, and we all know that in 2020 we were all locked up in our various countries and homes around the world. 2021, likewise, the world was not yet opened up. I visited Bosnia again in 2022, but again, Sam Osmanagic, he was just opening up the pyramids. It was the first year that people were starting to come. It wasn't really the right space for me to present the movie that I had made to date. And then a very interesting thing happened, because a third picture emerged, which was really, as we say, the cherry on the icing on the cake, which provided me a framework within which I could embed the movie that I'd already made. Anyway, I'm going into too much detail here because you asked me actually why I am in Serbia. So I was actually invited to the Silk Festival because they have awarded me with Best Documentary.
Congratulations about that. Really. It's amazing.
It was a great surprise, and I feel very honoured to have received this award, and also that I could be able to attend the awards ceremony, which was yesterday in Belgrade, and to meet the people from the festival and receive this award firsthand, and also to have this opportunity to come to Serbia for the first time. I mean, I don't think I would have missed it.
Now you know. Then welcome from our side. Really, it's beautiful to have you here, because you bring us such a amazing female energy in the field of a lot of things what we already do, but you are top on this cake, I think. So a good cherry, or what we can say.
I like that.
You like it to be a cherry. Okay. Yeah, because we really start to do a lot of things. I think we have an amazing time together. How you feel in Integra with us, with this our female circle?
Oh,
it was a lot of changes, but it was
honestly, when I arrived here in Belgrade, I was pretty tired from traveling, and I came from India because I live in the Indian Himalayas. So it was a long journey, not just from Delhi to here, but from the Himalayas down to Delhi is about a 12-hour journey. Getting a little less because the roads are getting better and better, so between 10 and 12 hours to come out of the mountains to Delhi. And then from Delhi I popped into Sarajevo because, I was here in this neck of the woods. I know and love the Bosnian pyramids and the people there, and also Sam Osmanagic was holding a scientific conference last week, and when I heard that was going on, I couldn't resist just popping in for a few days.
Of course.
So I'd been there for 3 days, and then I arrived in Belgrade, and then the next day I was really quite tired. And you so kindly invited me to come to your wellness studio, and this was just the perfect day. I mean, I just needed this space of relaxation, this safe and warm and embracing space in which I could just come down from this long journey and rest. And there were 5 of us there. We had a beautiful talk. We drank lovely tea, and we shared amongst us honestly speaking, I don't really even remember the conversation because it was just so fluid and flowing. I know we discussed the Mayan calendar and some of the aspects of time according to the Mayan calendar, and some of our individual birth dates and the meaning of that according to the Mayan calendar, which is just super wonderful and something that I'm very interested in. And then I received this wonderful massage from you, which just gave me my body, my mind, my spirit, the rest that it needed, so that the next day I could give my talk and show my movie at the university to a number of people who came to see it, and to be able to really be able to share what I've done in Bosnia, and also the talk that I've a talk which includes a lot of information about my movie and how I made it.
And it was amazing, a presentation of how you
so
do.
much.
It was really unbelievable. And every second in your film, in your movie, it was like, oh my gosh, you count everything. It's impossible to different kind of seconds or minutes of the drums or the voices of men and the female voices. It was really incredible and very important, and I think it's really interesting for our people to know why 54 minutes.
Very nice question. Actually, I learned in Bosnia from a very interesting scientist who visits Bosnia very regularly, actually, Valeri Varov. And I'd learned that the heartbeat of Mother Earth is 54 minutes. And he actually explains this in his new book, Pyramids of the Gods, and he produces the equations and everything that have been proven by various scientists. Actually, a number of Japanese scientists have measured how this is actually possible. And so one heartbeat of Mother Earth, it's such a beautiful way that we can think of ourselves and our own heartbeat as a fractal of that, the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and how we are so deeply connected with Mother Earth. And honouring Mother Earth is actually a way in which we can deepen not only our own personal consciousness, but also our connection with our life, people around us, our respect for the planet, and how we can also really expand our understanding of our position in this cosmos. And we are cosmic beings. We are connected to universe, galaxy, sun, solar system, planet, If we go inside, we are each of our cells, and inside the nucleus of our cells, and inside even the quarks and mesons and all these tiny little things inside our, we are connected on so many different levels, and each of these levels are a sort of resonance of universal harmonics. And this is another topic that I've been look very deeply into in my work in Bosnia. It's just such a beautiful way to see that we're not just this tiny little individual self that we think that we are, but we are so connected to each and every one, and also not just human but animal and insect and planet, and how having this kind of consciousness can really make us respect everybody we meet, and also the places that we come to. And in that sense, we would never want to do harm to them because they're part of us. We're all connected in that sense. It's impossible for us to harm anybody else if we realize that we have this connection to place.
Of course.
And
Samir bring people all over the world. Our beautiful friend, Samir Osman, is here. Say hello to him. Thank you for everything that you do. And he brings people all over the world. My gosh, it's really, what you do is unique, I think. All these people who are doing a lot of things to prepare everything and to be there. It's really amazing. It's beautiful because you're part of, in your way. But why we are here today, where we are? I love it when you say the name of this mountain. Please tell me.
So when I was coming here, I was corresponding with our great friend Milenko, who I met in Bosnia, and who subsequently was part of the team that invited me to come here. And he asked me the question. He said, when you come to Serbia, is there anything you want to do? And the one thing I knew about Serbia, apart from, of course, the capital is Belgrade and these kind of ordinary facts, I'd learnt about this mountain in the southeastern part. I knew it was like somewhere over there, called Rutang.
Yes, thank you.
I know I can't say it properly because in the Serbian language you say it. And he was just absolutely, this place is phenomenal. And I can totally understand why you would want to go there. And I'd heard the name in Bosnia. And so kind of Serbia and Rutang had become synonymous with one another. And I just wanted to come here. I was kind of drawn to come here. And we made it happen. You made it happen, and our friends here made it happen. Sasha,
beautiful Sasha Nashville, thank you so much.
And has been our guide today and taken us around. It's been absolutely wonderful to be able to make this journey here. 2 hours out of Belgrade, and our little stops for coffee and lunch and these things, and meeting our friends here too. And it's just been absolutely wonderful. This is just the cherry on the icing of the cake of my Belgrade trip. with all the other cherries, because this trip has really been each day has been so rich in meeting people, phenomenal people who have so much knowledge about from scientific to philosophical to even filmmaking and other genres of thought. It's been just wonderful. And so I am super excited to come back again one day.
I'd just like to ask you about that,
because today we have not actually climbed Rutang
to Šiljak, but
to
you
Šiljak.
are on the other place.
Yeah, we have been able to look at it from various angles, and it's sort of like kind of teasing us, like, come. But unfortunately, on this trip, my time is up, so I will have to leave and know that I will come back. And definitely I want to come back to here again and explore. I don't know where this will lead, but just come back and explore.
We don't know. And this is really so important to understand. And somebody like you, who were on Kailash, like really the top of the top. And when we think about secret of Shambhala, then you made it. You feel it. You go there. Then you like to come to it, and it means really a lot for us. Thank you so much. But can you tell us where you go back now? Or actually, you don't go back immediately to Himalayas where you live usually, but where are you going now?
So tomorrow I will make my way across the world, half the world, to the other side of America, to San Francisco, and I'll be giving a workshop this weekend regarding another piece of work that I'm doing at the moment, and so this will be my. I'm hesitating to start talking about it because
I don't ask
it's
anymore.
going to.
It will be for the next time.
It's going to be a long conversation. Yeah.
Can you tell us just the small things? I know our audience really like to know more about Himalayas, about living there. What you can say. I don't like to ask you too much personal things because what you share, it's really on you. But something what you can say about this life there.
Well, when you say Himalayas, you say the Himalayas are very big and very long, and there are a lot of Himalayas.
Oh God.
So when I'm talking about Himalayas, the Himalayas that I know, I spent 6 years in Nepal. And actually it was from Nepal that I visited Mount Kailash. Mount Kailash is not in the Himalayas, it's beyond the Himalayas, but you can sort of say it's like in that region. But Mount Kailash is really a very, very special place. I was fortunate enough to spend 1 month there and have an incredible journey getting there. And also to be able to experience a sort of synchronicity of time and spontaneity of occurrence of things happening while I was there, that it was only when I returned to my home in Kathmandu at that time that I realized how much this place had affected my consciousness and how I think and how I would continue with my life. That was back in 2004, so 20 years ago. And fortunately at that time you were still allowed to go everywhere and you weren't sort of shepherded through a pathway and not allowed to go left and right, which I have understood that now is the case because the Chinese have imposed some stricter rules about where tourists can go and can't go on the mountain. It's a very, very special place. It's really very, very sacred. It does affect your consciousness. It does affect... Nothing is the same after Kailash, for sure. But you asked me another question about the Himalayas. I spent 6 years in Nepal, like I just mentioned, and then I moved to a different part of the Himalayas in India. I spent 3 years there, and in a sense this was sort of a preparatory time in the Indian Himalayas in a lovely old British hill station called Mussoorie, up at 2,000 meters. Interestingly, Mussoorie is sort of on the top of a hill like this, so I would say there's a lot of space. It's very spacious, it's very beautiful, you can see for miles. And we rented a small cottage in the forest there, and it was really a delightful time. I continued my work that I was doing. I was actually making I was already making these pictures that I was making pictures which are of a similar type that I continued making in Bosnia. And I was involved in a project to do with the river Ganges. And I made a film which got me to travel from the source to where River Ganga comes out of the mountains and into the plains of North India, which was just an amazing introduction to living in India. Really, Mother Ganga is like a heart of India.
It's Mother Ganga.
Mother Ganga. And so I got to meet people and go to places all the way along the river on that mountainous stretch. That was phase 1 of my Ganga work.
Okay.
Ganga is how the Indians say River Ganges. Of course, in English we say River Ganges, but in India they say Ganga. Then we moved to a little bit further west in the Himalayas to another state called Himachal Pradesh. Actually, when you say Himachal Pradesh, its meaning is like the place of snow.
Yeah.
And really we're amongst the snow peaks, so we have a valley about 40 kilometers long with 2 main towns at either end, and we live in the middle of there. The height of where we live is about 1,800 meters above sea level, which in the context of the Himalayas is fairly low, but that's the valley.
It's like a
that's the floor of the valley. Well, just up from the floor of the valley on the side of the mountain. But all around you have the peaks around 5,000-6,000 meters. So for most of the year there's snow covering the top, and there's a lot of forest and a lot of wildlife. It's very, very natural. It's a very clean and beautiful environment to live in. There, of course, has been a lot of development over the years because a lot of people want to come there because it's very beautiful. So they've built hotels and tourism lodges and things like that, which has good and bad sides to it.
Sure.
I mean, it's wonderful that people can experience this kind of place, but at the same time, it causes quite some change in the how the people who live there live as well. But living in the Himalayas is really it's a very beautiful thing to do. It's not in a city. Course. And you can have a very clean and kind of spacious environment, especially for the sort of work I do, which is artistic and creative, because I'm not only making movies, I'm also writing books, and I'm making these photo collage art. This is what I call my pictures, photo collage art. You might think, oh, you're just designing them on the computer, but no, it's a very tactile experience. So first of all, I'll cut up the shape of the picture with on plyboard, about that thick plyboard, 8 or 10 millimeter plyboard. So really, it's like cutting up. Yeah, actually, my husband does mostly does that part for me because I'm not so good with the handy tools. Then, depending on the chief color that I'm going to use, we'll lay down a cloth on top of that, and then we have to kind of stick it, with glue, and then on top of that, in order to make the shapes that I need to express the meaning of what I'm trying to express in the picture, I'll use hard cardboard, again covered with cloth, different colors of cloth, because let's say, for example, I want to symbolically express the nature of the 5 elements. I'm going to use the colors according to the highest tantric yogas of Tibetan Buddhism, because that's the school of thought that I've come through. So for space, I'll use blue, and for the wind, air, I'll use green, and for the fire, red, and for the earth, yellow, and for the water, white. And so I'll cut up the shapes and then put these colors on, and then you'll know, or I'll tell you that this is expressing the meaning of the 5 elements. And then so you've got hard cardboard covered with cloth, and that's stuck onto the principal cloth, which is stuck onto the plyboard. But then that's not it. Because in order to give, I've come to say this, in order to give some kind of consciousness to the pictures, I add photos to the top, and I'll choose a theme of photos. For example, a picture I made after I travelled on the River Ganges during this time I was making the film about the River Ganga. I took a lot of photos of the river Ganges, and I really wanted to make a picture with the symbol Om. Mm-hmm. And Om is made up of 3 Sanskrit letters, A, U, and Mm. So I decided to use pictures with the theme of water. Mm-hmm. So for A, which is representing the form, the solid world, I would use pictures of snow and ice and, water in its hard state. For the U, which is representing sort of the formless realm, which is like a liquid, I would use that. I'd really got into taking pictures of the texture of water when I was traveling on River Ganga. So I would really, sometimes water is bubbling, like have these real bubbles. Sometimes it's like flowing, but you get these patterns on the surface of the water. So I'd really got into that. So I had these pictures that I could use for the U, and the I used the really sort of the ephemeral world, the spiritual world, which I used. I used photos of clouds, so water in its gaseous form. So like this, I use symbolic things in order to represent deeper meanings in the picture. So that's...
I love our talk.
I know I could go... I know I'm starting to go on and take this subject and then...
Thank you for this, because you are a subject, actually. It's somebody who know you. It's rich people. That these people are rich who know you, because you are really such abundance. To give.
Thank you.
Actually, I can't say. I just can feel through my heart, and I know we have a lot of stories.
Next time.
Next time. I have a lot of questions, but I really know that you have a big trip tomorrow, and it's already start to be dark, and somebody give us a light. Thank you, Sasha, for the light, and thank you for all these roads today. Sasha Načpe, duh rtnja. Hvala divni profesor Milenko Đurić, koji će biti sa nama sljedeći put, nadam se. And thank you so much, dear beautiful Susan Griffith Jones, for your kindness, for your love, and for your presence here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For beautiful truth.